Hey everyone! Today we're going to solve a mystery that has puzzled people for centuries. Take a look at a map of Europe and you'll spot something interesting about Portugal. This small country sits on the edge of the Atlantic, completely surrounded by Spain on its land border. Now, here's the puzzle. Centuries ago, Spain was one of the most powerful empires in the world. They had massive armies, huge navies, and colonies stretching across America, Asia, and Africa. So why didn't Spain just conquer its small neighbor, Portugal? It seems like it would have been easy, right? Well, the answer is way more interesting than you might think. Let's travel back in time and uncover the fascinating story of these two nations. To understand this story, we need to go way, way back. About 2,000 years ago, the Romans controlled most of Europe. They called the land where Spain and Portugal are today Hispania. For hundreds of years, the Romans ruled this entire peninsula. But around the year 400, the Roman Empire started to crumble. New groups of people, often called tribes, began taking over Roman lands. One of these tribes, the Visigoths, were fierce warriors who conquered all of Hispania and ruled it as their own kingdom. The Visigoths probably thought they'd control this land forever, but they were wrong. A new force was rising in a completely different part of the world. Far away in the hot deserts of Arabia, a new faith, Islam, was born. Its followers, the Muslims, began spreading their beliefs and building vast empires. And these empires grew incredibly fast. Within just a few decades, they had conquered lands from Arabia all the way to the Atlantic Ocean. In the year 711, a Muslim general named Tariq ibn Ziyad landed in what we now call Gibraltar. His armies were powerful and well organized. Within just a few years, almost the entire peninsula was under Muslim rule. The Muslims called this land Al-Andalus. Many beautiful cities were built, and amazing advances were made in science, art, and architecture. The Muslim rulers controlled most of the peninsula for centuries. However, they were stronger in the southern and central regions, what is now Spain, than in the western region, where Portugal would eventually form. Now, this is where things get really interesting. While Muslims controlled most of the peninsula, some small Christian kingdoms held out in the northern mountains. These kingdoms began a long campaign to take back the land, a campaign known as the Reconquista, which means reconquest. During this period, a brave warrior named Afonso Henriquez fought to carve out an independent kingdom in the western part of the peninsula. In 1128, after winning some crucial battles, he declared himself the King of Portugal. This makes Portugal one of the oldest nations in Europe. By 1143, other kings recognized him as Portugal's ruler, and in 1179, even the Pope officially recognized Portugal as an independent kingdom. Portugal was born. Meanwhile, what we know as Spain didn't exist yet. The area was divided into different kingdoms, with Castile and Aragon being the most powerful. These kingdoms were also busy fighting to take back land from the Muslims. Here's a super important moment that changed everything. In the 1470s, a major argument broke out over who should rule the Kingdom of Castile. Two women claimed the throne, Isabella and Joanna. Portugal supported Joanna, who was married to the King of Portugal. Aragon supported Isabella, who was married to Ferdinand of Aragon. This led to a war. In the end, Isabella and Ferdinand won. They became the king and queen of their united kingdoms, which eventually became Spain. But just imagine if things had gone differently. If Joanna had won, Portugal and Castile might have united, and Aragon could have stayed separate. The entire map of Europe would look completely different today. By 1249, Portugal had finished its reconquest, pushing all the way to the southern coast. Spain completed its own reconquest in 1492, the very same year Christopher Columbus sailed to America. After finishing the reconquest, both Portugal and Spain looked outward to the oceans. This period is known as the Age of Discovery, when European explorers sailed around the globe, finding new lands. Both countries became obsessed with exploring, trading, and building colonies. Portugal discovered routes to Africa, India, and Brazil. Spain conquered huge territories in the Americas, from Mexico down to Argentina. And here's the key point. Both countries were so busy with their overseas empires that they didn't focus much on conquering each other's European lands. The real wealth was coming from the spice trade with Asia and gold from America, not from taking over neighboring kingdoms. In 1494, Portugal and Spain even signed the Treaty of Tordesillas, where they agreed to divide the newly discovered world between themselves. They were more like partners in exploration than enemies. But there was one period when Spain actually did control Portugal. Here's what happened. In 1578, the young king of Portugal, Sebastian, died in a battle in Morocco. He had no children. His elderly uncle Henry became king, but he also had no children. When Henry died in 1580, Portugal had a huge problem. Who would be the next king? Several people claimed the throne, but the strongest claimant was Philip II of Spain. After a brief war, Philip won and became king of both Spain and Portugal in 1581. This created what historians call the Iberian Union, both countries under one king. However, Portugal kept its own laws, government, and colonies. They weren't fully merged into Spain. They just shared the same ruler. This union lasted for 60 years, from 1580 to 1640. During this time, Portugal's empire actually got weaker because Spain's enemies also started attacking Portuguese colonies. By 1640, the Portuguese people had had enough. They launched a war to restore their independence. After years of fighting, they succeeded. Portugal got its own royal family back, the Braganza dynasty, and became fully independent once again. From this point on, Spain never seriously tried to conquer Portugal again, even though they had several more conflicts. During the 1700s and early 1800s, Spain and Portugal often found themselves on opposite sides in European wars. Portugal usually allied with Great Britain, while Spain allied with France. In 1762, during the 7 Years' War, Spain tried to invade Portugal, but failed. Then, in 1801, during the War of the Oranges, Spanish forces, influenced by France, attacked Portugal and took some territory. The most dramatic moment came in 1807 when Napoleon, the French emperor, decided to conquer all of Europe. French and Spanish armies successfully invaded Portugal, and the Portuguese royal family had to escape and flee all the way to Brazil. But then Napoleon betrayed Spain to, quote, "He overthrew the Spanish king and put his own brother on the throne." This forced Spain and Portugal to become allies for the first time in centuries. Together, with help from British armies, they fought back against the French in a long, brutal conflict called the Peninsular War, finally kicking them out by 1813. So, let's finally answer our original question. Why didn't Spain conquer Portugal? There are actually many reasons. First, both countries were far more interested in their overseas colonies than in fighting each other. The real money came from trade and resources from abroad, not from Portuguese land. Second, Portugal was excellent at diplomacy. They built strong alliances, especially with Great Britain, one of the world's most powerful nations. Spain knew that attacking Portugal might mean going to war with Britain. Third, Portugal's geography helped protect it. Much of the country is hilly and mountainous, making an invasion very difficult. Fourth, when Spain did control Portugal during the Iberian Union, they kept it as a separate kingdom instead of fully absorbing it. This made it much easier for Portugal to break away and regain its independence. Fifth, Spain had plenty of its own internal problems to deal with. Wars, revolutions, and political chaos kept them busy. And finally, after both countries lost most of their American colonies in the early 1800s, they were both significantly weakened and focused on rebuilding rather than on conquering each other. So there you have it. The story of why Portugal remained independent is really a story about timing, priorities, powerful alliances, and a few historical accidents. If just a couple of events had gone differently, like if Joanna had won instead of Isabella, or if the Iberian Union had lasted longer, the map of Europe might look completely different today. Portugal's independence is a remarkable achievement. This small nation has maintained its own unique identity, language, and culture for nearly 900 years, standing strong right next to its much larger neighbor. What do you think? Are there other historical mysteries you'd like us to explore? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more fascinating history content. And don't forget to hit that bell icon so you never miss our new videos. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.